In this video, we're going to see a little bit of MATLAB. So don't get too bogged down in the details of using MATLAB because we'll be using it a lot in the coming weeks. This is just to give you a glimpse of some of the very first things that we'll be doing in the first programs that we write. This is what MATLAB looks like when you open it on the computers in the lab. And you see there's this little prompt that looks like two little carrots to the right. We'll always type our commands at this prompt. So one of the first things that we'll do in MATLAB is we'll learn how to assign values to variables. So I might type something like this, where what I'm doing is I'm taking the value 8 and I'm assigning it to the variable myVal. So let's talk a little bit about what's happening there. So I said I had a variable, myVal. In MATLAB, a variable is something that holds a value for you. You say that you want a variable just by using it, by typing the name. As soon as I type myVal, MATLAB realizes that I'm trying to make a variable and it goes ahead and it makes it for me. Now I'll be able to use myVal to access this value anytime I want to. The next thing that we saw in that line that I typed was what we're used to calling an equal sign. In programming, we call that the assignment operator, and it acts a little bit differently than it does in math. In math, anywhere you see an equal sign, both sides, it just means that the things on either sides are equal. In programming, it actually does an assignment for us. So instead of indicating equality, it assigns a value. And in particular, what's happening is we're taking the value 8 and we're assigning it to the variable myVal. So another way to say that is we're taking whatever's on the right-hand side of the assignment operator, here it's the value 8, and we're going to assign it to the variable on the left-hand side of the operator. So that means you can only ever have one thing on the left-hand side of that assignment operator, a variable. You can have more on the right-hand side, but what will happen is we'll evaluate that whole expression and then assign the result back to the variable on the left-hand side. So let's take a look at a couple examples. So you see there, I said new val equals 7 plus 3. So I first evaluated everything on the right-hand side, and then I assigned it using the assignment operator back to the variable on the left-hand side. And note, if I try to say, if I put my variable on the wrong side, I'll get an error. So errors are something that we get from MATLAB to tell us that something's wrong with the expression that we just typed. So here, the problem is that I had my variable on the wrong side of the assignment operator. Again, the assignment operator is directional. So I always have my variable on the left-hand side and I assign the value on the right-hand side to whatever variable I have on the left-hand side. And you can see that the error gives us a little description that helps us figure out what we did wrong. So the expression to the left of the equal sign is not a valid target for assignment. Hopefully that if you saw that error in a program, you would realize that it just meant that you were using the assignment operator incorrectly and you would need to swap those values, which I can do. So notice that here I assigned the value of 10 to new val. Here I assigned the value of 7 to new val. The variable new val will always only have the last value that I gave it. I'm always overwriting the previous value of the variable. If I want to see all the variables that I have in MATLAB, I can type the command whos, W-H-O-S. That goes ahead and it shows me all of the variables that I have declared. We'll see a little bit about exactly what we're seeing when we use whos and a little bit more about variables and assignments in coming classes.